Welcome, everyone, to What to Watch Live, the show where we discuss the best in TV and entertainment this week. My name is David, and today I am joined by my fellow Xfinity editors, Quam and Maddie. Hello.
Hello.
What up?
Welcome. Welcome. Here we are again. Another beautiful Monday, August 14th. Birds are chirping, sun is shining. Here, at least, maybe not where you are. Maybe you're watching us 24/7 somewhere across the country on the Xfinity What to Watch channel on Xumo Play, or maybe you're just watching us on X1 or Flex. That's great. Wherever you are joining us, thank you for being here. And we have another great show for you. So let's tell you about it. Today, Quam sits down with the cast of AMC's The Walking Dead: Dead City. We will celebrate Dia Nacional del Cine Mexicano with our favorite Mexican directors. We'll tell you about the My Outdoor TV shows you can enjoy for free this week. And we will reveal the 3 TV premieres we are most excited about right now. So, without further ado, let's get things started with a road trip to post-apocalyptic Manhattan and the latest edition of Hangouts. AMC recently concluded the first season of its brand new Walking Dead spin-off entitled The Walking Dead: Dead City, and our very own Quam recently sat down with the stars Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Lauren Cohen for a new episode of Xfinity Hangouts. Quam, tell us more about it, please.
Thank you so much, David. And yes, I had the pleasure to sit down with Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Lauren Cohen. I did not realize how cool Jeffrey Dean Morgan was as a person, or is as a person. Like, he's the dude I just want to have a beer with, like, honestly. And did you know that Lauren Cohen is from Cherry Hill?
I didn't know that. South Jersey girl, huh?
Yeah. And it's actually very interesting because she's also has dual citizenship in the UK, because I think she lived there for a little bit. So she has like a really unique accent where she will talk and it will sound, kind of like American, and then like an English accent will come in there, and then maybe a little bit Australian. It's a very unique accent. I was like going through her like YouTube comment section of like some interviews she did, and people were like, "I love your accent. I love the accent." I don't know. But let's take a look at the conversation that we had.
Can you at least tell me what the hell you're doing out here?
A few weeks back, I got raided.
They took your kid.
Have you seen this man? Goes by the name of Negan.
Give me danger, little stranger.
How do I figure into this, Maggie?
The man who's got her show. You know him.
You need me.
The show has had so many iconic death scenes and kills. Jeffrey, what is one of your favorite kills, or at least one that stands out to you?
God,
I know he's going to say. He's going to say.
We know what it is. I mean, I think the first time you see Negan, I'll never forget that. I'll never forget those initial 2 nights of filming the introduction of Negan. Although we don't know who he kills, and then we came back for the season 7, episode 1, and not everybody knows the story, but. There was a lot of leaks going on with The Walking Dead, and it was also top secret at that time, that I ended up killing every character that was in the lineup. And so Lauren was one of them that I bashed in the head and had her head explode, and they actually edited an episode with her being the person I killed to find out who was leaking the episode. So we filmed an episode that never has been seen by anyone, with Maggie being Negan's first victim. But look, I'll never forget the Abraham and Stephen Yen of it all, ever. And no one will ever let me forget it, even if I wanted to. So I would go with those.
Now, before I jump into their conversation, I just want to mention that the cardigan he had on was so fire. I literally asked him before the interview, I was like, bro, where'd you get that cardigan from? But he was like so nice. He was like, my stylist got it for me up in New York. And I was like, okay, awesome. I'm sure it's a lot of money. And he was like, I think so, but if you tell them that Jeffrey sent you, they'll do something special for you. I have yet to go to New York. I've been to New York, but I haven't yet to go to the actual shop, and so I'm still trying to make that a thing and like go to that store, and hopefully they just give it to me for free, because it is a pretty penny that I'm not willing to buy. But besides that, did y'all have a favorite? Well, first let me ask, did y'all watch The Walking Dead, the original series?
I did. So that's the episode where I gave up, where what they were describing is because
Really?
the show was so brutal and so upsetting to me, I abandoned the show, which now I wouldn't do today, but I think I was just so emotional at that point. But that answer you gave was that like Hangouts exclusive? That's like,
I was wondering the same thing, Maddie.
Yeah,
Is
'cause
that
that's a
story
really-
out there?
yeah.
I don't know. Listen, I'm a breaking news kind of guy. When I sit down with the big stars, I'm only looking for the exclusive details. They don't give.
You're a journalist. You go in there with journalistic integrity and get results.
I was surprised too, because I did not know that story as well before he told me. And it's just so crazy. I feel like in a few years we're just going to get like all these cuts of like the of like Lauren getting her head bashed in, and like everyone in the cast like getting murked by Negan. And they're like, what happened here? It's like, oh, these are unreleased cuts.
He is just the coolest dude. We actually talked about this right after you did the interview a few weeks ago on what to watch live. But I got to interview him once at San Diego Comic-Con, and he walked into the room just so unbothered. It was like 100 degrees out in San Diego, and he walked in, and they had a like model of Lucille the bat up against the wall, and he just picked it up and slung it over his shoulder, and he's like, "Where are we at? Camera over there. That's where we're looking. All right. Hey, everyone." Like just pointing at people, and everyone just falling over because he's so freaking charming. But like that dude commands a room with the least effort I've ever seen someone use to command a room, and I'm so envious of it.
I mean, so there's this term called Riz. Are y'all familiar?
Is he the Riz King?
He is the Riz King. He just like this oozes Riz. Like I think it's part swag and also part voice. He has a really nice voice, and like I feel like if he just did a narration of something, like you just want to watch it solely because he's the one narrating it. That's the impression I got.
Move over, baby Gronk. Jeffrey Dean Morgan is the Riz King.
He is the official Riz King. I have one last question to ask y'all. Did y'all develop like when zombies were on the rage? Did y'all develop your own zombie survival guide or survival plan? I feel like everyone did.
No, because I live right next to a massive graveyard. I would be so gone before I even realized what happened that it's not even worth coming up with a plan. I would be overtaken first.
Yeah, my plan is similar and just immediate surrender.
Gosh.
I've watched enough of these shows to know that the humans are always the problem after the zombie apocalypse. So just get me out of there as soon as possible.
Kind of nice to just get to walk around and eat all day, which is all I really want to do anyway. So the zombie life, I don't have to think much. It sounds great.
Never mind then. I guess I'm the only one. What's my plan? The question wasn't supposed to be turned on me. It's for y'all. No. So the first thing it all depends where I'm at in my life. If I'm in my current life, I have a completely different plan than I had when I was like in my teen years when The Walking Dead first came out and like zombie mania was crazy. So I'll take you to my teen life. My first plan was to gather up all the guns in Walmart, take them to my house, and then me, my mom, my sister would drive to Arizona. Why Arizona? I don't know. I felt like it's like a remote place. It has nice weather, and I feel like the zombies would dry out in Arizona. That was my plan, and then we would find like a cave or something, like a small enclosed area where no one knows about. And this, now that I'm like vocalizing this plan, it doesn't sound like a great plan.
I think the first question is, can the zombies swim? Because if the answer is no, just go to an island and live out the rest of your life there.
That's a good point.
That is a very good point. I don't have a boat though, and I feel like that's very key into this.
I think you could, at this point, with the weapons that you've gathered, get yourself a boat.
I mean,
I'm not suggesting anything.
you are Maddie. You are Maddie.
In Pirates of the Caribbean, the zombies just sink to the bottom of the ocean and then just walk on the floor of the ocean.
Oh, right.
I'd be afraid of that.
That'd be a terrifying scene. Imagine you thinking you're safe, and then out of nowhere, you see like the zombies just come out of the ocean, rise from the depths. Yeah, that'd be terrifying. I'm like, oh my god. Well, that's that.
That is that. Well, formulate your own zombie apocalypse plan and check out season 1 of The Walking Dead Dead City with AMC On Demand, or watch it ad-free with AMC Plus. And don't miss Quam's full interview with the very charming Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Cherry Hill, New Jersey's own Lauren Cohen by saying Hangouts into your Xfinity voice remote. Next up, we celebrate Dia Nacional de Cine Mexicano in the latest edition of What to Watch This Week. August 15th marks Dia Nacional del Cine Mexicano, the National Day of Mexican Cinema, which, as you might guess, celebrates the contributions of Mexican films, directors, and actors to the world of cinema. And you can join in the celebration simply by saying Latino into your voice remote to access our Xfinity editor's curated collection of Mexican cinema, including dozens of critically acclaimed modern films like Bardo and I Dream in Another Language, beloved Golden Age classics like Cuando los Hijos se van and La Barraca, and a collection of complete films available on YouTube. And in honor of Dia Nacional del Cine Mexicano, each of us chose a film by our favorite Mexican director. And I will actually kick us off by revealing that I couldn't choose just one movie by my favorite Mexican director, Mr. Robert Rodriguez. First is the movie that put Robert Rodriguez on the map, his feature-length debut, El Mariachi. This 1992 Spanish-language film follows a traveling musician who is mistaken for a ruthless assassin and suddenly finds himself embroiled in a bullet-ridden gang war. El Mariachi was actually shot on a budget of only $7,225 and stars mostly inexperienced amateur cast of performers. However, Columbia Pictures loved the film so much that they bought the rights to the movie and spent an additional $200,000 to bolster the production value, and I think like $1 million to actually market it. It made $2 million at the box office, so ended up being a pretty good bet. Robert Rodriguez would go on to make 2 sequels to El Mariachi, the first being 1995's Desperado, in which he recast the lead role with Antonio Banderas as the mariachi and Salma Hayek as his love interest. And then the second is the 2003 film Once Upon a Time in Mexico, which added Johnny Depp to the cast as an eyeless CIA agent. Literally, he has no eyeballs. Collectively, the films are known as the Mexico trilogy, and they are very, very good. But I also wanted to take a moment to acknowledge and celebrate one of Robert Rodriguez's lesser-known films, because I love this story. It's the 1994 made-for-TV movie Road Racers, starring David Arquette and Salma Hayek. Here's the deal on this. In 1994, Showtime launched a 10-week series of 1950s drive-in-inspired B-movies entitled Rebel Highway. The series included movies starring Alyssa Milano, Julie Bowen, Paul Rudd, Anne Heche, Renee Zellweger, Howie Mandel, Adrian Brody, Shannon Doherty, Jared Leto, Alicia Silverstone, Tracy Lords, Matt LeBlanc, and like a who's who of 1990s stars. Each director was given a budget of around $1 million and only 12 days to shoot their films. And Robert Rodriguez actually replaced Wes Craven, who dropped out of the project to direct Wes Craven's New Nightmare. But Road Racers starred David Arquette as a rebellious 1950s greaser named Dude Delaney, who dreams of becoming a rockabilly star but finds himself embroiled in a feud with the local sheriff, played by a very excellent William Sadler. The movie also stars future Oscar nominee John Hawkes as Dude's best friend Nixer and Salma Hayek as Dude's girlfriend Donna. And it was actually this movie that ultimately led Robert Rodriguez to cast Salma Hayek in her breakout role in Desperado. So in retrospect, it's like kind of fitting that Robert ultimately joined forces with Quentin Tarantino to create that grindhouse double feature in 2007, because Road Racers is absolutely an ode to that genre and one of his best films. It's a great time, so highly recommend it. End of rant.
Yeah, you did your homework, David.
Very much so.
So I've interviewed Robert Rodriguez on 3 different occasions, and one of them was for like a random DVD release of Road Racers, and we talked for literally an hour on the phone where he gave me the entire backstory of how this movie was made, talked about how he actually strapped himself to the hood of a car to handhold a camera to shoot David Arquette through the windshield. Like, one of the things I love about Robert Rodriguez is that dude doesn't throw money at problems. He just solves it by strapping himself, literally his body, to the hood of a car. And he like really prides himself on that. And I think it's just really interesting when a director finds creative ways to solve problems instead of just spending money. So he's also like the nicest dude too, and very giving as an interview subject. So I'm a big nerd for Robert Rodriguez. That's it. Maddie, tell us about your movie and your director.
I wish I had the opportunity to interview my director 3 times as you did, because I hear he's a fantastic interview. But I'm probably going with the most well-known Mexican filmmaker at the moment in Guillermo Del Toro. And my personal favorite film from him is Crimson Peak. Guillermo has a ton of credits to his name, director, producer. He's appeared in movies. But the first time I really became aware of his work was in his film, The Shape of Water, which won Best Picture at the Oscars in 2018. And he also took home the Best Director award for that film as well. And that was like a bizarre film. It didn't really work for me, but I think that was the case for a lot of people. But it made me cognizant and aware of his work. So then this past year, I did a mini Del Toro deep dive. And I watched Nightmare Alley, one of his most recent films. I watched his version of Pinocchio, which I thought was great. His Cabinet of Curiosities series on Netflix. And finally, Crimson Peak, which I loved. This movie is very in line with the fantastical elements that are featured in much of his work. And it stars 3 of my favorite actors in Mia Wasikowska. I think I'm pronouncing that right. If anyone knows, let me know if I have it wrong. Jessica Chastain and Tom Hiddleston. This movie is a true horror romance, which is, I think, a really untapped genre. Outside of maybe Bones and All from this past year, I can't really think of a horror romance that I've seen that I've liked as much as Crimson Peak. And this is where Del Toro shines, right? This heartfelt but unsettling genre that he loves to work within. If you haven't seen it and need a reason to watch, Mia Wasikowska's character gets romantically swept away by Tom Hiddleston's character, and she leaves to live with him and his sister, Jessica Chastain, in this gothic type estate, which kind of looks like the blueprint for the Haunted Mansion ride at Disney World. If you've ridden that ride, it's the same type deal. She quickly begins to grow weak. She's visited by ghosts and plagued by nightmares. And as things unfold, she starts to question her husband and his sister and who they really are and what they're all about. I'll leave it at that because this is a wild story, twists and turns. It's definitely worth checking out. And this is why I also have complete faith in him taking over his version of Frankenstein. He's set to direct that movie, which doesn't have a release date yet, but it has great actors on board to star in Oscar Isaac, Andrew Garfield, and Mia Goth, who I love. I love all 3 of them, but I'm in the Mia Goth hive. I think she is fantastic. So I'm happy to celebrate Guillermo del Toro on this National Day of Mexican Cinema.
Maddie, did you mention Pan's Labyrinth?
I did not, because I've never seen it, and I can't believe you're exposing me, because
Sorry.
I just wanted to breeze right over the fact that I haven't seen that movie.
That's like really, I mean, that's my favorite. I think it's a lot of people's favorite because it was his first and probably most well known. But
yeah,
and
that falls in the same spiel, right? Like very creepy. right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. A lot of like fantastical creatures. And I think even a lot of practical special effects, like the dude with the eyeballs in his hands, like they did all of that. I feel like you'd love that movie.
I should have hit that on my deep dive and I didn't, but I got nothing but time, so I'll check it out.
All right.
One thing I love, one thing I love, I always want to mention, as we're like conversating, between these Mexican directors, is that between each director, I think I'm gonna say the same thing for mine, that these directors are like true to the craft of filmmaking, and whether it's figuring out creative ways to overcome a problem or being just a master at a particular type of genre. You can tell these folks really do their work, do their homework, and have so much respect for filmmaking that the finished product is something that you typically just don't experience, with a lot of other filmmakers, especially today. I feel like these filmmakers, they're like one of the like lost generations of like true filmmaking, that they have a passion for it and something that can't be like recreated by AI.
Yeah, I mean that's perfect example is Del Toro's Pinocchio, which was stop motion, which I assume took years to make, was released at the same time as Disney came out with their kind of animated, what that is, animated but not version of Pinocchio, and I believe one was nominated for an Oscar and the other wasn't. So that's a really good point, Quam.
Yeah. Goods, they value, as Squam, as you said, the craft of filmmaking, but also good storytelling. All of these directors know how to tell a story. And it's a perfect segue into you, Quam, telling us who you picked. Bring us home.
Well, thank you, David, for that awesome segue. And if I had known that I could pick multiple movies, I would have. David would
I cheated,
drew outside the lines there. But I had to go with one of my favorite movies of all time by Alfonso Cuarón, which is Gravity. This is such a great movie. Gravity tells the story of Ryan Stone, played by Sandra Bullock. Ryan is up in space, so there's actually no gravity, and she's fixing a telescope when her and her crew find themselves in the direct path of wild debris flying over at speeds over 100 miles per hour. So it's like debris flying, things are getting crazy. Her crew is killed almost instantly as the debris, it strikes their spacecraft and them. And Ryan has to find her way back on Earth, as she's in the, I don't know what part of the atmosphere she's in, but I guess the stratosphere or maybe right above. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I'm not up there. I'm not an astronomer. But the movie is so great because it has an incredible story about overcoming adversity. And Maddie, I wanted to like relate this back to your point of you just laying over and dying because zombies are there. You got to overcome adversity, okay? As zombies are the new adversity, you got to figure out how to overcome it. And like Maddie, Ryan doesn't have much to live for at the start of the movie.
Well, hang on. I have a lot to live for. I didn't say that.
All
right,
Whoa, I'm talking about Maddie in zombie world. Maddie, not Maddie currently has a lot to live for. She's lit.
Thanks for clarifying, Quam.
Sorry. Ryan, like zombie Maddie, is just just going through the motions of life. When this crazy tragedy happens, this catastrophe, and she's to figure out her way back home, and it'd be so easy for her, like zombie Maddie, to just roll over and die, but she doesn't. She fights and claws her way back to Earth. And even the metaphor of debris being like the manifestation of adversity always coming back around. It's just like amazing storytelling. It's amazing. Just what's that word? It's not a metaphor, but it's like symbolism, motif, if you will. The movie is excellent, and I kind of spoiled it, but it's also just a great movie if you haven't seen it. The directing is just top notch. I am such just a lover of long takes and just unbroken shots, and Alfonso is just known for that, and he does it so often within Gravity. And certain scenes, you want to talk about like just next level filmmaking, go look at the behind the scenes of the making of Gravity, how they had to just make it look like you're in space, and the art of being like weightless and that whole ordeal, because there's not a lot of CGIs being used there. they had to like strap Sandra Bullock to a crane and fly her around, and it's such a unique experience, and you don't really think about it as you're watching it because you're just like so enthralled into the movie, but you're like, hold up, how did you even shoot this? Like, how is this even physically possible? And it really just, again, to my earlier point, it just makes filmmaking such an art form, and it's something that you just have to see. And I already mentioned that I find it hilarious. The movie's called Gravity when there's like actually no gravity. It should be called like Zero Gravity. And yeah, I love this film. Also want to shout out Children of Men by Alfonso Cuarón, because, you know, David had a movie. Children of Men, great movie. I will not spoil anything in that movie. It's amazing. It has an awesome long shot as well. And another favorite movie of mine, The Revenant by Alejandro Inarritu. I hope I pronounced his name correctly. One of my favorite movies, which also has another long shot and also is just a masterclass in filmmaking, because they shot all of that with this natural lighting, which is, if you ever done filmmaking, you know that's so freaking hard to do, especially that they did it at different times of the day, at different parts of the season. It just filmmaking masterclass all around. So those are my 3 movies.
I am so glad you mentioned Children of Men. With respect to Gravity, Children of Men is one of, hands down, the best movies of the last, like, I don't even know if I guess it's within the last 20 years. I don't remember the release date.
I think
for
2006. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's one of the best sci-fi movies ever made, ever. And so good. It's a masterclass in cinema and storytelling. And you're right, can't spoil anything because, it's so damn good.
It's like one of those movies. It's like you're right. It's sci-fi, but it's like realistic sci-fi. It's like, it's like, oh, this could definitely be a possibility type of sci-fi. Not like, oh, aliens are coming down from, you know, the cosmos.
Right. Yeah. It's a different kind of sci-fi, but all excellent picks. Thank you so much for sharing all of your insights. And you can all check out El Dia Nacional del Cine Mexicano collection now by saying Latino or what to watch into your Xfinity voice remote. Next up, our entertainment road trip continues with a visit to the great outdoors in the latest edition of Free This Week. Xfinity's Free This Week program continues with a free preview of My Outdoor TV. And here to tell us more about the shows, documentaries, and specials you can enjoy for free through August 20th is our resident outdoorsman, a rugged, manly man who has climbed mountains, wrestled bears, and chopped trees with the edge of his hand. It's Xfinity TV editor, David, who is me. That's me. Here we go. My Outdoor TV boasts more than 20,000 episodes of hunting, fishing, and shooting content for the nature lover in all of us, including 200 episodes of the outdoor lifestyle show Crush with Lee and Tiffany, more than 200 episodes of the long-running angler series In Fisherman TV, nearly 300 episodes of the hunting culture show Bone Collector, 80 episodes of wilderness guide Jim Shockey's series Uncharted, and so much more. Check it out, My Outdoor TV. Just say free this week to check it out right now. And Quam, Maddie, do either of you fancy yourself outdoors people?
I love a good hike. I don't know about Maddie, but I love to just, you know, explore the great outdoors and be one with nature. It's a great feeling. But for me, I'm actually interested in seeing Bone Collector, just because it shares the name of the movie Bone Collector. And I just want to know if there's any similarities or if there's any reference to the movie Bone Collector. Probably not.
It's very different.
That's what I expected. Yeah,
Maddie.
Yeah, I'm curious, Quam, if you think I'm an outdoor person, since you've made a bunch of sweeping generalizations about my life this episode so far. But I will, surprise, I'm really not. I like to walk outside.
It's such a surprise.
I like to walk and I like to be near water. I don't enjoy like water sports and outdoor activities, but maybe that's why I need to check out this network. But how I'm kind of picturing this network is like the adult version of Nickelodeon Games and Sports, because that is what I was obsessed with as a kid. Like that version of like action adventure stuff was right up my alley. And maybe this is the graduate version of that for adults, because I do miss that network.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a different kind of guts that you're dealing with in this situation. I was so begrudgingly forced to be an outdoor kid when I was a kid, and I'm more willing to go outside now. But one time I went fishing and used this lure that had like a weight at the bottom and the hooks higher up on the line, and you're supposed to cast it out and it just sits on the bottom, and the worms and stuff are higher up, and you just let it sit. So I put this new weighted lure at the end of the fishing pole and cast it for the first time, and was unfamiliar with the weight and just chucked my whole fishing rod right into the ocean.
There you go, resident outdoorsman.
Slipped right out of my hands. Maybe In Fisherman TV could teach me something about that. I did dive in off the end of the dock to go find it. This was in Ocean City, Maryland. But yeah, real.
Were you successful?
What's that?
Were you successful in retrieving it?
I did. I remember hitting the water and just like reaching around in the darkness to try and find it. But it was also low tide. So someone had to hang off the end of the dock to pull me back up because I couldn't reach it. Real graceful. So maybe I can learn something this week, free this week in my outdoor TV. Anything else to add about this?
I think a lot of people are going to love this. Maybe we're the wrong demo here, but I'm sure there's a class of Xfinity customer that's more outdoorsy than we are.
100%. There's obviously a market for it, and you are out there and you're watching right now. So go enjoy all of this. Xfinity's Free This Week program offers a new selection of free content from streaming services and premium networks every week of the year with no strings attached. Just say free or Free This Week into your voice remote to check it out. Next up, it's time to set your alarms for entertainment with a segment we call Appointment TV. Every week, the Xfinity editors pick the TV show, movie, or special event they are most excited about right now. And this week, we are kicking things off with Maddie. Maddie, what are you looking forward to?
This week, I will be tuning in to The Challenge USA Season 2 on CBS. Let's take a look at the new season trailer.
Challenge USA is back.
Representing the red, white, and blue.
And for the first time,
you are not in Kansas anymore.
CBS Reality Titans.
This is really a redemption season for me.
Battle it out.
The rookies have no idea what's in store for them.
To win the ultimate prize of $500,000.
Let's get to this money.
America's best will be pushed to their breaking point.
You guys need to help.
Get your down here and play.
I hate you.
I'm not giving in to temptation, not this time.
Okay, so as far as competition shows go, David knows this, I'm kind of a Survivor loyalist, but this one features a bunch of my favorite Survivor castaways and some of my old favorites from the real world who are back again for like their millionth season of the challenge. And then there are cast members from Big Brother, Amazing Race, Are You the One as well, if you watch any of those shows. Wes Bergman and Johnny Bananas are back again. I don't know how many times they've done this show. I imagine they made enough money, but they still keep going for that $500,000 grand prize, so you gotta respect it. And then some of my Survivor favorites are joining in. David, I don't know if you know any of these or recognize these names, but Cassidy Clark from season 43 is in it. Michelle Fitzgerald from season 32, which she won, and season 40. And Chris Underwood, in my opinion, maybe the worst Survivor winner of all time. He was kicked off the show in the first episode and got to come back and won the whole thing. But maybe, I don't know, he can regain my respect in this season of the Challenge USA. As you could see, these challenges this season look as intense as ever. I saw one, it looks like they have to tightrope walk between two hot air balloons mid-air this season, which is crazy.
Nope.
There, right, exactly my thoughts. There seems to be some physical altercations that go down at the house. Not promoting violence on this show, but happy to see a little bit of fighting in the house over there as well. And there's going to be some romance, of course, which are always a recipe for success for the challenge. So I'm not going to miss out on this season. I did miss last season, and I really regretted it. So that's me, Challenge USA season 2.
I keep looking closely. You're seeing me lean in probably. Is that Tyson from Survivor in the key art there?
Yeah, I think Tyson was from season 1. So they've revealed the cast from season 2. So I named off some of the faves from there, but I think they're still riding the coattails of season 1 in some of the promotional elements.
Sense. Johnny Bananas, I don't think he does anything else. Like this is it, right?
It has to be.
With a name like Johnny Bananas, are you really surprised?
No.
Good point, Quam.
That is, I'm very excited and most likely to watch this only because of the Survivor contestants that are included, because I too am a Survivor purist and I don't mess around with Big Brother or really almost any other similar reality show. It's all about Probst. Next up, it's me. I'm going to tell you what I like. This week, it's the premiere I'm most looking forward to, and it is The Winter King, which premieres Sunday, August 20th at 9 p.m. Eastern on MGM+. Let's take a quick look at a clip.
Darkness is coming. The Saxons will take the Isle. Come home, Arthur. Only you can save Britain. I'm my own man. No family, no country. You truly are my bastard.
The gods, they have a plan for you.
Bring the country together.
It's your destiny.
Vengeance is the way of things.
Maybe the way of things has to change.
We must unite the tribes. It's time for something new.
Based on author Bernard Cornwell's book series entitled The Warlord Chronicles, this 10-episode show is a retelling of the King Arthur legend in which Arthur is an exiled warlord, Merlin is a mysterious druid, and Guinevere is a power-hungry schemer. So what specifically caught my eye about this series? It is actor Ian de Caestecker? It's very...
You're saying it with like an Irish accent. Is he Irish?
Because he is like Scottish or Irish, and I'm sure I'm going to anger someone by not knowing the difference. He is one of those two things. And maybe he's British. I don't know. But he plays the Arthur Pendragon in this. And I was a big fan of the ABC Marvel series Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when it first premiered in 2013. And although my interest in the show quickly dropped off, I did enjoy Ian in that series as a scientist named Leopold Fitz. And I would have never thought of him to play King Arthur, let alone a warlord version of King Arthur. So I'm very curious to see how it works and how he works and if he works in this show. But I also miss Game of Thrones, so I'm always looking for something to fill that gap of dudes in armor beating up on each other. So that's why I'm excited about this show. Although, does the world really need another King Arthur adaptation?
Do you think there's going to be a dragon at all in the?
Show? I think it's a good bet.
Is this a mini series or like going to be multiple seasons?
I think it's only, you know what? I don't even want to speculate. I know it's 10 episodes, but I don't know for sure if it's a mini series or not.
Gotcha.
There was another there was a King Arthur series on Netflix not too long ago where like the King Arthur character was a woman instead, and now I'm forgetting what that was called. But I kind of liked that, but again, it's just another Arthur and another Merlin, and that got canceled after one season.
It's hilarious. When you said you're a big fan of, King Arthur stuff, I thought you were going to say Transformers: The Last Knight. If you haven't seen it, it starts off with King Arthur and Merlin, but instead of, them being just magic and slaying dragons, it's them on Transformers, and the magic is from the Transformers. I don't know. begrudgingly watched
That's
that.
the new movie?
No. That was
Oh.
The one before.
The one before
Oh.
is still in the Bayverse of Transformers.
Favors.
Yeah.
Pre Hasbro cinematic action figure universe.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Who are we missing now? Quam? Quam, what are you most excited for?
Yeah, it's me. Yes. What am I most excited for? Is there really any guessing here? It's a fight. It's obviously a fight. I'm the fighting guy now. It's UFC 292 this weekend, and we have Aljamain Sterling going up against Sean O'Malley, and I am actually very excited for this fight. I kind of like Sean O'Malley. He's the guy on the right with the red hair. If you're looking at your screen, he's a bit of a showman, and I just like fighters who add a little bit of flair to their fights. Who do things that make them look a little cocky. I don't know. Am I a cocky guy? Some would say, but I just like it when a fighter has the confidence and the swagger to just do things to anger their opponent and maybe the crowd too. So I'm really excited for this fight. There's also an awesome undercard as well. David, I know you are a fight fan. Are you looking forward to this matchup?
Yeah, this dude on the right is going to get wrecked. And I absolutely love seeing a cocky fighter just eat canvas. Like nothing makes me happier than seeing why is his name escaping my mind now? Conor McGregor.
I knew you were going to say Conor McGregor. That's like the poster child for cocky fighters.
Love it. One of the Paul brothers, like any of them I just love it. Oh, but I mean, you need those types of people to make these fights interesting. So as much as we love to hate them, classic villainry, you got to have a good guy, you got to have a villain, and that's what makes these interesting. So, so many people love to hate him, but that's what sells tickets. So I wouldn't change this guy for anything in the world, but I hope he gets knocked out within seconds.
This guy is giving me Sheamus vibes. David, is that fair to say?
Oh my God!
I know. Look at me with the WWE. Is he a bad guy in WWE? Is he still working?
He does. Yeah, he's been around forever. He comes and goes as most guys do in terms of good guy or bad guy. And right now, I believe he's a good guy.
Oh, okay. All right.
But yeah, absolutely those vibes.
I mean, his name is Sean O'Malley, so make it
Ireland,
that
stand up.
Yeah, he's actually from Montana, but he could be Irish. I know.
It's the box-dyed red hair that is giving away that he's not actually Irish.
Probably. He also rocks like cornrows too. He has like a myriad of different hairstyles. I'm a Sean O'Malley fan. What can I say? I just want to see a good fight. That's at the end of the day. If I get to see a good fight, I'm the winner. The fans are the winners. So yeah.
Curious, what do you? Because everyone I think people have definitions of in terms of what they consider a good fight. Like, would you rather see an explosive knockout within 30 seconds? Something that goes the distance and ends in a knockout there, like a tap out? What's a good fight to you?
A good fight to me, it could be. There's no hard stance of what's a good fight is. I think a quick knockout, it would have to be from the favorite, because then it's oh wow, this guy's just so dominating. He just took this person out in X amount of seconds or minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
But for a fight that goes a distance, or even that just makes it to the later rounds, I want to see a fighter. I want to see both fighters really give it their all, trade blows. There be some tension, maybe again some showmanship. Someone's put in a headlock or a submission hold, and it's will they get out? How will they get out of the situation? And it's oh God, they did it. How did they do that? That build of a fight, essentially a Creed fight. Maddie, I'm gonna throw you a bone here. I think Creed does a great job of illustrating what a great fight will look like. People trading hands, there being a lot of drama, maybe a cut or two. Will he return? Will they return? Oh no, they might have sprained their ankle. Can they walk? That kind of thing, I think, makes a good fight because it builds up the lore of it all. It builds up the legend, and then especially when it actually goes the distance, and it goes to decision. It just like adds that level, like, wow, that was such a great fight, and then everyone's gonna be talking about like, did you think they deserved to win? Was it how did you score it the same? I think all of that really adds to a lore of a great fight.
Yeah, I hate a decision. I want an ending.
I mean, I hate a bad decision. Like, I feel like we all know when we see a bad decision because it's like, really.
I once saw like a local MMA event with two like very big dudes, and neither of them had the power to knock each other out, and they just kept punching the crap out of each other, and then also just got gassed and stood there across the octagon from each other, just looking because they didn't have any more strength to keep going, but also couldn't knock each other out. And it was both the best and worst fight I've ever seen in my life.
It's like CTE has entered the chat.
Right?
Yes. That's what I think about when I see like slug matches going. I'm like, oh my god, this is so brutal. I feel for their brains.
Me too. And on that note, I'm feeling for our brains. It's time to say farewell for the week. That'll do it for today's show. Thank you to my fellow Xfinity editors, Kwame and Maddie, for joining me this week. Special thanks to Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Cherry Hill, New Jersey's own Lauren Cohen for hanging out with us today. Season 1 of their show, The Walking Dead, Dead City, is available now with AMC and AMC+. Shout out to our producers, Brad, Josh, and everyone else behind the scenes for making the show run smoothly. We appreciate you. If you want to check out the TV shows and movies we talked about today, get more of our entertainment recommendations, or watch us interview big celebrities, just say what to watch into your voice remote, or tune in here every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern for a new episode. We have a new episode every Monday in August, so make sure you are here. You can also watch us across the country on the Xfinity What to Watch channel on Xumo Play. My name is David. Thank you for joining us on What to Watch Live.